So, moving on to some post-race news. Bottas accused Mercedes of being asleep at the wheel with regards to letting both Max and Hamilton finish ahead of him. He started at the pole position and ended the race at third. Toto Wolff, the team boss, countered it by saying that they just had a slower car during the race and that they learned from his pit stop, what I had said before, they learned from his pit stop that the tires could have actually extended further the hards. Ruben, where do you...
Listen, Bottas could say whatever the hell he wants. You're still the number 2 driver. So we're going to take the risk with you. We're not going to take the risk on a strategy like that.
But he's the race leader.
Yeah, but he was also... at that point, wasn't Max ahead of him? Because they pitted at the same time.
No.
Max was not in front of him when they pitted. Max was in front of him when they pitted.
Yeah.
Bottas followed Max. Maybe at that time he was already on the way to box and Max made a late lunch, but Max was in front of him when they pitted.
Right. But yes, you're right. But
we're not talking about Max. What we're talking about is, Hamilton was behind him. They gave him. Well, I'm saying in the race, Hamilton was behind Bottas. Forget about everybody else. We're talking about the Mercedes drivers, right? Hamilton was behind him. They gave him preferential treatment. They pitted him first.
Okay.
Now, in that time, they pit him. They took the tires off. They saw that, there's still a lot of rubber left.
Yeah.
And they left Hamilton out longer than what he should have, which in that exchange basically put Hamilton ahead of Bottas. Mm-hmm. So you're basically taking, not only are you switching them, you're swapping them in position, but you're also not giving him the chance to fight Max at the front.
But we also have to remember that Mercedes this whole weekend did not trust a single piece of rubber of those tires. So they reacted in the way, and obviously they have to inspect what comes in. Hey, they're not going to say on the radio we messed up. Hey, Ham, these tires look bad, but they still got meat on them. Keep going.
I think they actually did say that they may not look good, but
they did say,
because Ham asked him, hey, these tires, no, you'll be good. Go ahead, push.
But I think that was after the fact that Bottas had pitted.
Yeah, it's a race, and they're learning, especially with these bad tires that they had. They're just learning as they go.
But now you're running the risk of creating bad blood, not between Hamilton and Bottas, but just between Bottas and the team.
Yeah.
No, but they'll just correct that, like the way they're trying to, they just want to make, they'll make right for it.
Yeah, they'll correct it by putting him in a bigger hole to Hamilton. Remember, these are the two guys fighting for the championship.
But they're still under the same team.
Verstappen
in second place now.
Second place now.
Well, but at that point, what I'm saying, before the race comes in, 1, 2.
So what would you have them do? Have Bottas and Ham swap places?
No, you can't.
Exactly.
Ham was so much faster on a fresher set of tires on the better tires.
No, I'm trying to.
It's a tough call.
It is a tough call, regardless how you see it. We are learning on this race as we go from the tires, how they're behaving. It just happened.
But why? But here.
So what would you have to do?
Do you blame? No. Uh-huh. I don't think that Mercedes did the wrong thing, but
it looked that way though.
Well, it looked that way to Bottas.
Exactly.
It looked that way to Bottas. And especially if you're a driver that is fighting for the championship, and from going forward, as Bottas, do you trust the team and looking out for you?
Is Bottas' career over?
No.
Look, if they had pitted Hamilton first, it would have also been a problem. So
exactly.
Regardless, it's one of those things where
you're them if you do, you're them if you don't.
They have to sit down and show him the data as to what they were seeing. And
at that moment,
look, the numbers, unfortunately, they don't lie. And sometimes they change. And Bottas just has to accept that.
Damn, but it sucks because it's always on Bottas.
Yeah.
And it's always in the advantage of Lewis Hamilton.
Hey guys, this is Wellington, 1/3 of the Jump to Start Racing podcast crew. I want to remind you to destroy that like button for the YouTube algorithm and to hit subscribe so you can stay up to date with our latest content. I also want to let you know that we're active on both Twitter and Instagram. For both platforms, the handle is @JumpTheStartF1. And of course, you can find us on your favorite podcast platform, Jump to Start Racing Podcast. Thanks for tuning in.